Here's another thing, and I just thought of this. I had this. That's one of the bandanas. I used to wear this thing all the time. I can hold this in my hand. I put it on when I'm mowing grass. I put it on when I'm doing whatever. It reminds me every day, 300 and whatever, 60 days about Bonnaroo. That's
Yeah.
that's why it's a little bit more than just a bandana. It is May the 11th. If you're watching, probably Wednesday, but for us, it's Mother's Day. And the only reason I mention that, guys, I don't normally do this, but I have to share a story. I never do this, but we were on the phone this morning with my daughter and our grandchild, who is 18 months, and she literally, while we were on the phone, FaceTime, which is awesome, she ran to the bathroom, stuck her hand in the toilet. Her dad got up to get her, and she turned around and ran and put her hand in his coffee cup.
All right. That's awesome.
Hey,
Sounds pretty exciting day.
It was
yeah,
a
good morning.
pretty funny moment, so I just had to share that.
Happy
Anyway,
Mother's Day last week, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day last week. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. Glad to be back. Taco, how about you?
I'm doing well, and just want to point out we are officially under 30 days.
Yeah. I was just thinking that last night as I was dozing off. A month from this day right now that this drops, so the 14th of May, we'll be over halfway through Bonnaroo in 30 days.
Are you ready?
Yeah, unbelievable. I'm ready.
No.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you.
But I never am until about an hour before we leave.
Yeah, exactly. I'm excited. I'm starting to pack. I have packed some stuff. Thanks to Evan and Kyle last
thanks.
week for those guys jumping in and joining us. That was a lot of fun. A lot of good information. Glad we're all back together, the three of us. Feels like it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's just been a wild month or so. I'll break down a little bit of things, just not too far in depth of where I've been the last couple of weeks towards the end of the show as we get out of here. But it does feel like it's been a while, and part of that is I just can't believe how much I have bit off and can't chew and swallow. Right before Bonnaroo, somebody was asking maybe it was Daniel from over at Rubus. He was just, hey, what do you think? We want to do this? Maybe you think about this. I'm like, I don't know, dude.
Right.
I can't. If you see this, I can't take anymore. I don't know. We'll get back to you. So that's just kind of a scheduling problem that I've created for myself. A problem of lots of fun, Barry and Taco. The guy who sits around and complains about having fun.
Yeah, right. No,
Too much fun.
We mentioned it last week with Evan. I mean, you mentioned Daniel and Rubus. Those guys have a packed weekend or week planned. I don't know how they're going to do it all.
Yeah.
If they're not careful,
exhausts
they
me
will
thinking.
get burned out on this.
It
because they
exhausts
just
me
plan
thinking about
so
it.
many events, so
Yeah.
many. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's big. It's a busy time, boy. Is it? Boy, it's getting here quick too. We're really excited about it.
All right. So we have lots to talk about. Obviously, bandana, gift gate, whatever you want to call it.
Gift gate.
I think this is worth spending some time on for sure. And
I do too.
And we'll get to it. I got a couple things before we do that. Barry and Taco, as far as old news, do we have any old news we need to get out of the way here from the DS? We have anything, or what do you guys got in the last week that we need to get to? Anything?
I'm excited to say I think they listened to us because remember a couple weeks ago you were complaining about the platinum areas, saying they need to go.
I've been saying that for a year. Yes.
Yeah, well, they're not going away, but they are reworking them, and they are keeping that in mind that it's a bad look to have such a big empty area right in front. So.
Good. I did not see that.
I think we can take credit for that. I believe they said that on the Rubus podcast a couple weeks ago.
Well, let's see. We brought back Jake and Snake and Jake's, whatever else it's called. We brought that back. We have now. Geez, I should make a list of these not real things that we did.
Our track record's pretty good.
Yeah. our criticisms, our advice.
Yeah, our constructive
Yeah.
criticism. I like to think that it
Well, that
is.
was to me that was an obvious one. That was such a, huge space.
It was a nice idea. I get it. It's fine. It just it wasn't utilized properly,
Right.
and so that's a good, And they listened, and it wasn't just us. All you had to do was walk by any of the tents and look over there and be like, okay,
Yeah, and there's Russ. There's Russ inside of 2 acres.
And I'm in there all by myself.
Why
yeah.
is there one guy in there with a PBR? Where is everybody else? And how did he get that PBR in here?
Even he doesn't look happy.
We don't sell that stuff.
Yeah, right. Even he doesn't look happy in there.
By the way, thank you, Bonnaroo, for not selling PBR anymore. I appreciate that.
Oh,
I wish they would.
we're going at it. Here we go. Any other news?
Well, I wouldn't call it news, but a couple things I saw people on Reddit talking about, just skimming through it here as I've tried to get caught back up into real life. Looks like on Tuesday, there's going to be a wiffle ball game in one of the empty plots that hasn't been filled yet.
Yep.
Boy, if I was there on Tuesday, I would show y'all how to play some wiffle ball. And so that's a really cool idea. And boy, the ideas out of left field keep coming from everywhere. And then this was announced a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and I just haven't got around to mention it because I keep forgetting. There's the coffee exchange. Now they're doing. It looks like, I'm sorry I don't have the info as far as what pod or what plaza it's going to be near. We'll figure that out in the next month. But the beer exchange has been something that's been quite popular over the last few years, and many years actually. And bring a beer, take a beer kind of thing. And it's now been arranged to do a coffee exchange of packages of what appears to be mostly whole bean. Let's make this a whole bean coffee thing, guys and gals, by the way. Don't bring that powdery, ground up junk you buy at the grocery store. Don't bring that. Bring the whole bean stuff. And the problem is for me and maybe us is that it's on Thursday at noon. So that's a cramped day for everybody, but certainly for us, it's always our busiest day is Thursday. So I hope I can make it. But there's a sign-up sheet that's a live sign-up sheet that you can go when you find it. I'll look for the link and send it. Maybe we can get it on here, and then you can go in there and give an idea of what you're bringing. Part of it that makes this exciting for me is I had never had other than a sip of coffee to realize I hated it my whole life until 2 years ago, 2 Bonnaroos ago. Tara V, our regular in and out regular of Camp Nut Butter, she had a jug of cold brew, and it was right after I quit drinking.
Yeah.
Right after I quit drinking alcohol, and so I was like, "What the hell am I supposed to do with Bonnaroo?" Like I was just kind of a lost year, and for me, just in my head. And she's like, "Here, try this."
Oh, I remember. I didn't realize it was that big a moment. I remember though.
I was like, I don't drink this crap, but okay. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is so much different than just a pour over brewed regular coffee. And so I have now drank it ever since then. So Bonnaroo is another connective tissue to something, basically an addiction to my life.
Yeah, it's just swapping one for another.
Exactly. And so now I am a whole bean. I got a coffee grinder. I grind the beans up. I make them every day.
Oh, yeah.
And
so pour over.
I do cold brews pretty much specific all the time. So in the jar where it just soaks and seeps overnight.
So Bonnaroo now for Stone is he's going to do the 5K and he's going to do coffee exchange.
Yeah, what the hell's going on here?
What?
Let's go for a race and exchange coffee beans.
Wow. Talk about changing your life.
I know. And so I love it. I can't wait for that. If I'll do everything I can to be at the coffee exchange.
I don't know what's next for you. We'll figure it out.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll probably. If we don't have on somebody from the Roo Run soon enough, Bonnaroovian Kyle might join us before a month is up, and because he ran the Roo Run last year, maybe many years, and I still think I might be messing up with that one. I know
said it last year, but he was first in line and he got to pick his number. He was 420.
420.
It's awesome.
There you go. Yeah. That guy is, I think he is a runner. He sure looks like a runner.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he looked like he did it and then could do it again.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having somebody, and I don't know if we'll get somebody officially from the Roo Run. It's a busy time, so it might not be. But we'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, it's wild what life will do to you, especially Bonnaroo.
Mr. Curmudgeon. Now all of a sudden he's worried about his coffee beans and his running.
I don't know, man. You gotta turn 45 and grow up one of these days, right?
There you go. All right. What else we got? Because I'm ready to get into this bandana gift thing because it's important.
Yeah. Yeah. The one more thing that I did see, just people chattering about the fountain. Looks like it'll be not open 24/7. There was not a lot of specifics, but with the idea of trying to keep it cleaner. That's a fine idea by me. I don't know that it needs to be open at 5 a.m. or 2 a.m. I'm not sure. If the idea is to keep it clean, that's fine. But the next time I get in the fountain will be the first time I've ever been in the fountain.
So for people who have never been, the fountain is one of the iconic images of Bonnaroo. There's the arch, and then there's the fountain, right? And then there's the spear. There's the
disco ball. There's
the disco ball.
Yeah, the clock tower.
The Ferris wheel.
Ferris wheel.
So the fountain runs all the time, and it is connected to well water. And it's clear when you get there on Tuesday, say, or Wednesday. And by Sunday, it looks like peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's brown.
And that's because it recycles. And it's because people have, suntan lotion or whatever.
Yeah, mixed with dirt and everything else.
Disgusting.
Well,
it's pretty gross.
You hope it's suntan lotion.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. At best case scenario, it's a lot of, that.
I do remember about year 2 or 3 being there at about 4 in the afternoon, and 2 or 3 people just decided to go skinny dipping. And it was the first time I saw security. And I thought, all right, well, there's naked people in this fountain at 4 in the afternoon, and this security person in a T-shirt. That's the only reason I knew. It wasn't like a cop. She just kind of walked up and said, "Y'all need to put your clothes on." And they were like, "Okay."
Simple enough.
And that was the extent of it. That's my sort of moment with the fountain.
Yeah, I don't know how much cleaning up they can do if it's just recycling well water, but if they're trying anything, that's fine with me. The biggest controversy of 25, the exchange, which I didn't even really realize that the bandanas is what's got people mostly been out of shape the most. But they've been, Bonnaroo's been given a unique ticket delivery system, in every angle, pretty much since the beginning.
Right.
Certainly for the last 15 years or so, like getting the gift that comes with the ticket shipment was a big deal to people, and I get it. I totally get it. It feels weird. So let's just start from where it is. I mean, by now.
Yeah, if you're listening,
You're just getting the wristband in the mail. That's it. That's all you're getting. And most festivals and most concerts and most anything you're doing that's an entertainment attraction, that's all you get. Like that, you just get your admission. They don't send you a damn gift box.
Right.
To go to the Metallica show at Nissan Stadium over the weekend, or the Pearl Jam show in Atlanta or Nashville. I don't get a Pearl Jam sticker in the along with it. All I get is the ticket. So it's just kind of going to the standard distribution.
Now if you get it on your phone, you get a barcode or whatever for the most part.
As a matter of fact, I even put that poorly. You're right. They don't send any of that stuff in the mail.
Yeah. So for years and years and years, when you signed up, you bought your Bonnaroo and you got a package in the mail, and in some years it was a lunchbox, literally.
Yeah.
A lunchbox. And
that was probably their most bold year of
Yeah.
sending out a really neat gift. I mean, I've still got mine. We've all,
Yep. And inside you got Rufus. You got
Yeah, the
a
little-
bandana.
Yeah.
One year you got a Magic 8 Ball. Last year, I guess you got was a notepad and a pencil. So you were, the idea being either you wrote down your own memories or you had somebody sign it or whatever.
Yeah. There was a board game recently.
Board
like
game.
a little die that you throw, and
Yep.
it was stupid as hell.
Yep.
It was stupid. Nobody played the board game, but it was still neat. I thought
It was
so.
different, and that's I can go. I mean, I am all over this one. I've thought about it for days. I get it. It's a cost-cutting thing. These things were expensive. They were an added. But as I've said, ever since we started this podcast in 2018, when you get to Bonnaroo, there's something different about it, right? There's just something extra. Whether it was the beacon. I mean, you got there and
the newspaper.
There's a newspaper and there's radio. Bonnaroo radio. You when you come over the mountain and you can tune in to the radio station and you're suddenly hearing the bands that are playing and interviews.
Nobody else did that.
Nobody else did
And
that.
nobody else even copied that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a unique idea and such a audacious idea that nobody even copied that one.
Absolutely. So we have said over and over and over that Bonnaroo is different. Bonnaroo changed our lives. This is one of those things. I mean, is it the end of the world that you're not getting a gift anymore?
course
Is it the
not.
end of the world that you're not getting a bandana anymore?
Of course not.
No. But is it worrisome? Yeah, it is to me.
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
I also think it's less about the bandana itself and more about how this was communicated. Because, Festival put out a tweet, and that's pretty much how everyone found out.
After they had already shipped.
After they had already shipped, and Brad and Corey had just done this big Discord AMA.
Right.
Not once mentioned it. So it seems like if they had maybe gotten in front of this a little more and communicated it better, people would be less up in arms, maybe?
Probably. It goes from, this is a weird thing to be mad about, to I'm enraged.
Exactly.
Yes. There's been
That's how
every
far
emotion, yeah.
apart everybody is on this. Like, you guys are so stupid for caring about this, to you're the dumbest guy ever for not getting it. And one thing I wrote down was just Bonnaroo, and you just said all this, Barry, but it's just a couple words that says the same thing. Bonnaroo is about a different experience. Everything about Bonnaroo is a different experience from everywhere else.
Correct.
And when you take away those different experiences at any time, it's going to bother people who are regulars. And I this is a right now note to self when we talk to the wigs and the movers and shakers of this festival, is how much does it matter for repeat business at this point, 21 years in? Is it more about new, fresh, young people to keep this thing going, which I think it probably is, or
it definitely is.
Is it more, or how much emphasis? Make a pie chart on repeat
Right.
business, and so the people who've never been don't know and don't
right.
care.
Right.
But most people who love this, let's just say, I think that's fair. Most people that love this, they're gonna go more than once, and they're gonna want those collectibles. I mean, just think about the explosion of the trinkets and the necklaces and the bracelets and I don't even know all the jargon. Sorry, all you young people, fellow young people. The drift for your wrist, right? Like all that stuff is part of it, and when it gets eliminated, it just feels like a piece of the soul kind of floats away.
You cannot turn your back on these people that have been going 15, 10, 20 years.
But also, if you want a bandana, go buy a damn bandana. Like, there's that too. So
Yeah, is it? There is a reality. People don't riot because they don't have something. They only riot when you take something. Right?
That's generally true, yes.
Yeah. So any change, and this is what I've heard a lot of people talk about on Reddit and whatever. You know, we don't have the comedy tent anymore. We don't have this. We don't have that. Things are silent disco. So when you start looking at it that way, I think that's what upsets the veterans.
It's another reminder of all the things that we don't have
Right
now.
You don't have
That you used to.
That you used to. Yeah.
That's right. And Brian, you and I were talking briefly yesterday on the phone. You've been to every one. I've been to most of them. Russ, you've been since 2018. So we have that historical knowledge. And to your point that you just were making, Brian, the half of the people that will be coming this year have never been.
Yeah.
So this is nothing to them, right? What do you mean a bandana? What are you guys whining about a bandana?
Yeah, like bandanas aren't even that cool.
Exactly.
Like, who cares?
You know, get me my wristband in the mail or on my phone and I'm good.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm sure Brad and Corey will point this out, you're getting flushable toilets. You're getting, better water stations. You're getting all this other stuff that they're putting all their money into.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. They've cut this one thing out, but look at everything else they've
Correct.
invested in. I mean, we're
100%.
getting a whole freaking new stage.
Yeah. I mean, that's all real. But you know how much people care about that in their day-to-day life? Not at all. Not at all. They're happy about it, but generally on a Tuesday in May, they're not like, boy, Bonnaroo, that Infinity stage. I am so excited.
Yeah.
That's just human nature all the way around. And here's another just little angle of this too. There's been a lot of news this year, and part of that is they've been very, very out in front of it.
Absolutely.
Brad and Corey, I mean, talk about getting some of these guys and gals on the show. I mean, we don't need them on the show. Just go look around. They're everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
And and good on them for doing this. Good on them for doing that. That's another thing that's unique to this festival. The Lollapalooza festival director isn't all over social media and podcasts.
Right. What's his name? You know?
I don't know.
Exactly, yeah.
So great on them for doing that. And guys, thank you. Legitimately thank you for doing that. But because there's so many changes, both good and bad, nobody who's approaching past a very, very youthful adult likes change.
No.
Nobody does.
Here's another thing, and I just thought of this. I had this. That's one of the bandanas. I used to wear this thing all the time. I can hold this in my hand. I put it on when I'm mowing grass. I put it on when I'm doing whatever. It reminds me every day, 360 days about Bonnaroo. That's why it's a little bit more than just a bandana.
Yeah. I've got those things in my life too, that I see almost on a daily basis.
You've got your Pearl Jam hat on.
I've got
a t-shirt. Yeah. I mean, we can get a t-shirt, same thing, but you bought that, right?
Right. No, this was not a gift. Yeah.
Right. A surprise.
Well, and I'll give you another example of I don't know if all sports teams, I would imagine many NFL teams do this because the Titans would have copied this. They're not unique enough to come up with their own idea. But I was a season ticket holder for the Titans from 2013 until like 5 minutes ago. Like just the other day, it was the official. You're done. Like the 100th time. Are you buying tickets again for the 100th time? No, I'm done with this. But every year they sent out a gift box in the off season. Usually came in January, and every year I would forget about it. Most years, and it was mostly junk, like stuff like a football commemorative 15 years of the stadium or something. I do have a cutting board actually. I still use to this day. Just stuff like that, trinket style things, coasters. Right. A little bit better than the way better than a bandana, way better than a koozie.
Yeah.
And they sent that every year. Had a bobblehead, and this stuff is junk. You can't even turn around and sell it on eBay for more than a few bucks because it's China, made in China junk that they just send out. And you know what? Every year I was so damn excited about that shipment of stuff because I give them a lot of money every
Right.
year for a product
Yeah.
that ain't all that damn great. And Bonnaroo is people giving them a lot of money for a product that is great.
Right.
That's a product that's always great, but it can also be, it's experience driven. So it could also not be that great. You could have a year that isn't good and doesn't have anything to do with Bonnaroo's inefficiency. That's just on your, your anecdotal situation that might not be good. But those gifts, things like that, you remember. Think about when someone gives you a gift. Think,
Yeah.
oh my God, what an awesome thought.
Yeah.
You just gave me something that you knew that I would like. That's the whole ethos of gift giving. So it really makes people feel special. And if you sit around and think, I don't know about this anymore. I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Oh, hey, they just give me, well, look at this gift.
Yeah.
Huh, how thoughtful. Hey, I can't wait to do this again. I mean, that's a psychological, even if it's subconscious, approach that I think many people have. And I think it leaves a little bit of a hole, like a little bit of a hole in the soul, a little bit.
That's my question. The fact that it didn't happen, what does that do to you psychologically? Yeah.
Probably to most people, nothing.
I used to get a 10-cent gift. This year I didn't get anything. Does that mean, is it gloom and doom?
I don't know. And see, and the package that they would send me, the Tennessee Titans would send me every year, the last like 5 years, it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And
It's
worse.
funny you mentioned.
And smaller and smaller and less and less. And I'm like, these jerks, screw these people. Like,
Yeah.
but come on, man.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the work thing because where I work, we get a coffee mug from a vendor, people we use. Nice, love it, great. How many coffee mugs do you need? But another
like
vendor,
two,
we didn't
two,
get
maybe.
anything.
You need two.
If you're Bryan, you need a bunch. You got all that
These
coffee.
days, I need a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But another vendor, we got gift cards. This year we didn't get anything. And so you're like, ooh, are they struggling? Is business bad? They don't like us
Yeah,
you don't love me anymore? What's
Yeah, it's
going
almost
on?
an indicator of, okay, are things things
Right.
good financially? Yeah, like what else are they cutting costs on and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll also tell you this, and it falls on deaf ears, and I'm gonna take up for all the Redditors and all the Discorders and all the people who are not happy about this, and I'm gonna take up for them here. It falls on deaf ears when the response is, we're cutting this because of all these other great things we're giving you. Hey, Ronald Reagan in 1980s and trickle-down economics called. Right?
Right.
Like, come on. Like, we just don't know. That's not palatable. That's not going to be, someone's not going to be like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
makes sense to me. Like, that's not how we're conditioned to respond. And I don't know if that's
Well,
good, bad, right, or wrong, but that's kind of how it goes.
I don't think it fell on deaf ears this year because they said, well, we could have handled this better, and next year the bandanas will be back. They promised that. So we'll see. But I
a
think
year
this
goes
is
by, and it goes by quick, but
It
it's
does.
still a long time.
But we'll see. I mean, I think they actually did kind of listen to all this feedback and thought, yeah, we got to
Well,
get those
give me another
bandanas.
example. This cup.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Right? You get a beer and they give you this cup. I think you spend a couple extra dollars. This cup sucks. Look how bad it sweats. I just filled this
It
up.
does sweat.
This cup sucks so bad. It looks awesome. It's a great cup, but functionally it sucks. But if they were giving this to me every year and they said, here, you can't have this cup anymore, I'm like, God damn it, I want that cup.
Isn't that the weirdest thing? I don't know what it is about it being the bandana. The gift is never the same. It's not the same except for the bandana. That's the one consistent,
constant.
right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the constant. So maybe that's what it is.
I'll tell you what it would be for me. If
And
I was in the world of getting these gifts every year, and I collected those bandanas, I am huge on the date, on collecting things with dates on them. Just got this hat last week at the Pearl Jam show, and the only thing I hate about it is it doesn't say the tour name on it. or it
Yeah.
doesn't have the year on it.
That's
That's
so
a,
interesting.
That's a big deal to me. I like to be able. It's almost like a badge of honor. Like, check it out. I've been
That's
every
so
year. I
interesting.
can show you. I've got a bandana to prove it. That kind of stuff.
The opposite of that is because we used to do this with like baseball tournaments when my kid was coming up. You didn't want to put a date on it because then you couldn't sell it again the next year. You ended up with a trunk load of T-shirts you couldn't get rid of. You couldn't give them away.
That's a big problem. I've actually read about that, and I've wondered about that over the years. These smaller bands that tour around and they want to have show specific merch, and it's like, you don't sell that stuff, man. It's going in the garbage.
It's going to Dominican Republic.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna go to a third world somewhere, and someone's gonna be wearing something, like Bill's Super Bowl '91, something like that.
Right, exactly.
But
20 years from now, it's valuable again, but not now.
Yeah, but in like things like a Pearl Jam ethos and a Bonnaroo ethos and anything that's the Who just announced their 4th farewell tour. The Who, something huge. You're probably going to go through most of your merch, and you're probably not going to have an issue with that. But that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. That if people were that upset, that they're probably, some of them are upset that they don't have their documented year to put it with the rest of their collection.
Let's be real fair. There are people who are going to bitch about anything. There are people who are going to.
You ever listen to me on this show?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I do, and I'll give credit to Michael from Ruham, and I agree with him. Man, I hope to God they're not selling bandanas at Bonnaroo this year.
I saw that, and I promise you that they are.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't advise it.
I think they would not do that now.
I think that's a bad idea.
I don't know. I have a feeling they might. There's a big difference in selling a few of these and getting 80,000 of them out for free. I don't know. That I saw that somewhere too, and I kind of smiled at that one too. But my money is on. They are going to be selling a bandana in there in the official merch for 2025. That's my guess. But I could see people be like, yes.
Yeah. All right. So final verdict. Is this the end of the world, or is it just it's just something to talk about?
I think it's just something to talk about, but I think the people who truly care about this, which there's a lot of them, they're not going to forget. They won't. They won't. Like you said in the beginning. I mean, you take away I don't mean to be so overly dramatic, but you take away my rights, you take away my freedoms, you take away the things I'm accustomed to. I don't forget about that. I might get over it and move along, but I don't forget about it. But what does that mean? You don't forget about it?
Yeah.
What do you think of the postcard idea?
I mean, we have to see it. Obviously, it's nice.
Expand on the postcard idea. Sorry, Taco.
Well, they said they were going to kind of keep it a surprise, but since this happened, they went ahead and told everybody. They partnered with a bunch of local artists to design a bunch of different Bonnaroo postcards, and it was something they were going to hand out at the gate when you come in, just as a little extra gift.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I like that.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because we've talked about, and Brian, I know you have as well. You guys remember walking out of Moon River, the local festival, which is run by the same people.
Yeah.
And our buddy Jeff Cuellar was there in a banana costume, saying goodbye to everybody as you walked out of Moon River
I forgot about that.
Those kinds of things, man, that's what we're talking about. Those are the kinds of things that these guys have done that are special. Obviously, you can't hold Jeff Cuellar in a banana costume in your hand. I hope to God you wouldn't ever want to, but those are the memories that
it's memorable.
Like, that's the extras, right? And those are the kinds of things that these guys have typically done that make it different. Well, you got to see a concert, right? You got to see your favorite act. That's awesome.
And hang out with your friends.
And hang out with your friend. But you can do that at any concert. True. It's the extras, like getting a gift, that we're talking about that make Bonnaroo different.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's almost like they've kept this tradition going through the multiple management changes and ownership changes of the festival itself. From day one, it was the Sweet Sounds CDs.
yeah,
And
it's a good example.
I am a huge compact disc, tangible media guy, as you guys are too.
Yeah.
And getting those CDs the first 2, 3, 4 years, I think it might have gone to 05. Like, I'm going back into prehistoric times here. But man, that just lit me up. I listened to those front to back. That was the only way you listen to music still.
right.
And it was a sampler. Just real quick to reset what it is. It wasn't a sampler of music that was all at Bonnaroo. It was some kind of record label conglomerate or compilation, I should say,
right.
of music that's probably stuff you're gonna like. That's similar. Half of it's from the festival, the other half are on tour this year. A promotional giveaway. Send it to the radio stations back in the '90s, kind of way of marketing music. And what better way to get a bunch of new music into people's hands than when 80,000 of them pull in and don't have anything to do except for listen to music and wait until bands play on the stage because of the primitive nature of the festival back then. Those were huge for me. I saved them all. I forgot to pull them out of storage over the weekend. But so it starts from there. It's been going this entire time, 20 plus years. So
where do you put Bandana? Losing the Bandana and the Gift in relation to like losing the Beacon and losing Bonnaroo Radio.
Yeah, I was going to mention those too.
Yeah, it's tough for me to have a comment on that because of my biased nature of it.
Yeah, mine too. I mean,
Barry,
when
you wrote,
wake up in
I
the
did
morning.
radio. So there was a newspaper, there's a radio.
Exactly.
Brian and Barry are very happy right now.
But that was one of those, I mean, when you got there as a first time goer, right? You're not a festival veteran, say, and you wake up and they're handing out newspapers. Like, my God, this place is nuts.
And the only way you were getting weather updates accurately was the radio.
The radio.
Yeah.
The app was not sophisticated enough.
But when they took it away,
the connectivity was not sophisticated enough.
But when they took it away, it was like, yeah, I get it. It's expensive, right? I mean, but it didn't. I mean, we complained, but did it feel like, I'm worried about now at the festival?
For a few minutes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, yes. But they haven't had Bonnaroo Radio in 5 or 6 years, and probably the same with the Beacon. The Beacon was also a Relics thing, so that wasn't a Bonnaroo only sanctioned thing.
Right.
Relics is the magazine and website jambands.com is part of that umbrella. That they have scaled everything down.
Right.
And so of course,
printed schedules for years. That was
printed
how
schedules.
you
The guide.
You got to
Yep.
you got in.
Yep.
They handed you a printed schedule day by day, and
on pretty nice stock paper too.
Oh,
it's not
great.
like
we got a bunch of them.
can
Yeah, it
withstand the
wasn't just
wind and moisture.
Yeah, it wasn't just a throwaway. It was a keepsake, like you said. It's got the date on it. It's a reminder. You take it home. They did away with those. They brought them back. 2 years ago? 1 year ago?
The printed, the guides.
We'll see if they comes back this year or not.
First of all, I forgot. Here we go. There's 2004
There you
Sweet
go.
Sounds. Forgot
Oh, there you
I have that from 2004, and I found more than, and I've cleaned up in here over the weekend, so I don't know where the other one is, but more than the printed schedule, the book, the bound book about that size.
Yep.
That was full of bios and it was more than a schedule. It was a Reader's Digest. Sorry to throw back to the 90s again. Here a bunch of old guys talking about Bonnaroo, but that was something they did for years, and they haven't done that in forever too. And that was a very high cost. Bandana glued booklet that's 200 pages bio of everybody at the festival. Well, okay, the book, see you later. Bandana, piece of nylon from China. I don't know.
All right, so Russ, you do the Bugapalooza. Brian, I know with your radio, you've been involved in events. Uh, I'm sitting here trying to imagine I'm Brad and Corey, or anybody else involved with C3 Presents, and I'm thinking, man, I wish we hadn't even introduced this stuff because you can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what a great idea, but then it's like, oh, we can't do this every year, right? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Again, it's that whole people don't riot until you take stuff away from them. So
yeah, and most people will absolutely get over this.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
will get over it
absolutely.
by the time the festival starts. They won't even think about it again until sometime someone starts a thread that gets 200 comments, and then it'll be like, oh yeah,
that's a
damn it,
great
I'm
point.
mad.
Who's leaving? Yeah, who's leaving on Sunday the 16th? Man, I didn't get a damn bandana. Worst week of my life.
The only person, and there might be a lot of these only persons that's going to be irritated by that, is the person who is the collector. Let's also not forget about that. Collecting is a pastime, I believe, of the coolest people you know. If you meet somebody who doesn't collect stuff, I ain't interested in hanging out with you. So the guy or gal that collects and then maybe didn't have a great year. Maybe the weekend didn't go well for him, and they're like, and I didn't even get a bandana.
Yeah, it's just one more. Well, let me ask you this: what if why couldn't they have just gone to one of their sponsors and said, "Hey, we need a bandana"?
Good call.
Tito's vodka. You know, just something that'd be like, "Hey, can you want to put your name on this, and we'll make a Bonnaroo / Tito's giveaway thing." It seems odd that they couldn't.
Excellent point, because
I sent you.
That's
Russ,
how that gets handled a lot of the time.
I sent you pictures of all my bandanas, and included in those Lodge Manufacturing and Ben and Jerry's bandana.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good point. I get the feeling from what I've read a little bit from Brad and Corey that they are a little surprised. I don't think they anticipated the pushback.
Yeah, I think this took them by surprise. Huge.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't seen the when people say, whoever they are, people, and I don't really read the comments. I actually really don't.
I don't read a lot, but I mean, I just saw.
I didn't see them, but
I know. Well, the comment was it was a couple of weeks, and the cost. I think the tariffs is what ended up being the reality, right? The cost of the bandana jumped way, way high. I don't know that
if
for a
that's
fact.
taken effect yet or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll leave the geopolitical people to talk about that one. But to speak real quick to your comment, Taco, about the sponsors, probably a little too late in the game for something like that.
Well, at this point.
Yeah, the only reason I'm gonna, the only little bit of like barely basic knowledge I would have is that Miller Lite is I've worked for many years, and they were the sponsor for many years, which was awesome for me for all those years.
Yeah.
Not anymore. And that was a long contract that they were in, and they couldn't wait to get out of it by the time it was over, because it's a very, very expensive partnership. It's not as simple as just, hey, we're doing y'all a big favor. Why don't you print us up 80,000 bandanas? So that's probably where they would have run into some issues. I mean, I don't. Who do we got this year? Is it Corona again, or White Claw?
We have Montucky. We have Athletic Brewing, which is awesome.
That's right.
We
talked about that.
Finally, a non-alcoholic. Smirnoff Ice. I'm looking at the sponsors. Sierra Nevada. It seems like they didn't get one big White Claws in there. They didn't get one big brand. They got a bunch of other, smaller brands, it seems like, which I guess is
well,
good.
a big brand owns all of those, likely, and I'm not sure which ones are which. But so anyway,
I know, but they didn't put just like Miller Lite or Bud Light,
or Corona or PBR,
or Corona or PBR. Yeah.
To me, what's fascinating about this, it's obviously it's not the bandana. It's the fact that we collectively care so much about this event. that something like this is worthy of what, 52 minutes?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
Of
we're
our
still
lives.
going on about it.
it's. I mean, I'm telling you, like the joke in the text thread, going back to my Titan story with the gift box. The joke in the text thread was every time in the off season I'd leave a crappy message about how bad I hate this team. They'd be like, looks like somebody got a bad gift box this year. Not happy with your gift box today, I see, Brian.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like it had a life of its own of this, and most of those people don't care for a second about a stupid bobblehead. I mean, look, here I got them all lined up right over
Oh,
here.
good.
This is Jarrell Casey from 2018. Like it has the year on it, and
Yeah.
so like I'm such a collector. I understand the people who are upset, and I will never get mad at you. But I also get it when someone says, "What the hell's the matter with you weirdos?"
Right. Yeah. What would you take for that? $1?
Yeah.
If I,
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah, hell, I'll print some up. I'll sell them for $5 each.
right.
How about that?
I get
Yeah,
it.
I was thinking about it because I think I got one bandana this whole time.
Oh yeah.
Because we don't get them as a media.
Right. We don't get it.
we
The
don't get
ones
the
I
gifts
have
anyway.
are because
But-
of my daughter.
Right.
Same with the T-shirts. You
but
know,
the
Brian,
one-
you and I wear the the same T-shirt.
But the one bandana that I have, I couldn't even tell you where it is.
Oh no, I tell you exactly where all my stuff.
Oh, I got a
is.
ton of
Yeah, I
bandanas.
know.
I just don't care what any of them say.
Right.
They're just for wiping sweat off my face. I don't even wear them. I collect them, put them
To
around
me,
my
it's
waist.
again, it's not what it is. It's like you with the Titans thing. It's not what it is. It's the fact that I have it, and it is a reminder of this event that I love very, very much.
and it makes you feel special.
And
Well,
exactly.
and it's cool
Makes
to
me feel
see
special.
people that do collect them. I know you've seen it. People they've made shirts out of them. They'll
Right.
sew them together and make a shirt out of
and
them,
they'll
or a
put
hat.
them around their hat.
or put
where
them.
they're-
They'll twist them around their hat or something, and it's just really cool to see. Man, that's a lot of years of bandana collecting to build up to something you can actually like wear like that.
And
Get
for
it.
me,
Get
I'll
it,
be
get it, get
honest,
it.
it's like if I wear it out, I'm hoping someone will
Someone
see
asks.
it and say, "Hey, do you go? You going?
That's
What's your favorite
That's a
one?"
good
It
point,
starts a
yeah.
conversation.
Oh, I've got the Bonnaroo sticker on my car. I've got my Bonnaroo mostly shirts from Grace, your daughter, from back in the day, and those things. And I always welcome
Love it. Yep.
love a Bonnaroo, and I don't want small talk ever. But if it's about Bonnaroo, whoa, stop everything.
Yeah.
What years
Yeah.
did you go? And then I like to test my knowledge. They'll be like, I can't remember what year it was, or I can't remember who the headliner was. I was like, let's go. What year was it? Who did you see? I'll tell you. Like
Yeah.
those kinds of things come along with.
Yeah.
It's not as much like that stuff gets built up through all the lore of this entire magical place. I would never use the word magical anywhere else in my life other than this festival, and that's a part of it. So yeah, I mean we've
And
said the same thing over and over again here
We
now,
have.
but
And I think that's why why we're having this conversation, because it feels like to some of us, you keep taking things away. It's frightening? Is that the right word? It's
I
worrisome.
think it is a little bit.
worrisome's the right word. I think
Worrisome's
worrisome's the right
yeah.
word. I don't know what the worry would be for exactly. The worry could be as much as I'm worried that I might not want to keep going. Like that could be the worry.
Or-
Because
The worry could be. I mean, look at how many festivals don't exist anymore.
Right.
They've just gone
Because
out of
it's
business because they
expensive.
can't make money. It's
It's
expensive.
expensive.
That's
it's so
part of the
expensive you
worry.
can't print bandanas.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
I
worry.
think that's. Yeah.
I don't
There it
know.
is.
I don't know. We'll see. But I think if nothing else, it's a measurement. It's a barometer on the enthusiasm for this event, and
Yeah.
it's showing me anyway, that it's not fallen off. It's still very strong. The Bonnaroo fam, as they would say, is very strong together, and this is one of those. They'll all hang out at Roo and have fun and have a million bracelets and a million everything
Right.
else.
Well, yeah. It for people like Brad and Corey that put this thing on, this should be a kind of a good sign, right? That they're like, whoa, oh, you guys actually
Y'all are
do
pissed.
care about this stuff. Yeah. Okay.
You mad,
That means
bro?
there's
You mad?
enthusiasm. I think the worst thing would be if they took away the bandanas and nobody cared.
Right.
Because then it just means like, okay, people have just lost interest or just,
Yeah.
That would be
not
worrisome
as
too,
special.
from a different angle, from different people. So
Yeah. So the fact that people are up in arms in this, I think, is a good sign to them.
Yeah.
people
They've really got
don't
something here.
get emotional over things they don't care deeply about.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
We'll see
All
where
right.
it goes from there.
Brian, do we want to talk about your last 2 weeks?
Yeah, let's spend-
You've been missing. You've been MIA for a little while, but you've been doing some stuff.
Yeah, as we close out the show here, thanks guys for Evan and Kyle for stepping in. I was actually here that Sunday for recording, but I was dead, and I knew I would be.
Yeah.
So just a quick reset of just the last, and it's got a connection to the show, so that's why I wanted to do it, not just to tell you about the 19th time I saw Pearl Jam, right? I mean, hat, shirt, the whole deal. This was on the street of Bootleg, on the street of Atlanta outside of Centennial Park. This logo has no business being on a tie-dye shirt. It does not fit. It does not work. I mean, as far as just, but because it's a bootleg, I love it more than anything I have.
I love a bootleg shirt.
Love it. But so I went to see Pearl Jam in Panic before that, but Pearl Jam in Atlanta last week, and then a golfing tournament with my work in Johnson City.
Did you wear
which
that
is-
T-shirt to play golf?
I did not.
You should have.
With up in the top right corner of Tennessee. So just put the state of Tennessee in your mind, and as far right corners you can get, that's Johnson City. And then, I'm mentioning that for one specific reason I'll come back to, and then Nashville on the Tuesday after that. And Atlanta was fine, good time. It was nothing notable. Then I ended up in Johnson City for this golf tournament, which I don't play golf, but I work for Miller Lite here locally, a beer distributing company. So a lot of drinkers, hence why it was a problem for me for so many years. And so we go play golf, and I'm just mainly wanting to see the big wigs who are from Knoxville. That's where the home base of the company is. Just remind everybody I still work here, and that I still value all you people and all that. And that actually worked out quite well for me. But afterwards, 30 minutes away in Bristol, Virginia, there is a casino.
Yep.
Like a full-blown, like you're in Vegas style casino. And so we got this bright idea. Designated driver guy will drive all these buffoons 30 miles to Virginia after the golf tournament, and just think about a beer company, all their alcoholic employees drinking all day long at this beautiful resort, beautiful golf club resort in Johnson City. Man, we were a motley crew at this place. Then at 9 o'clock at night, I'm driving them to a casino in Bristol, Virginia. I won't do that again.
Little slushy was it?
I will not do that again. These drunk, they don't listen to this. If you do, I love you. You know it. It was awful. And so we went there. I found the little sports book in the corner and watched basketball and hockey and played on my phone for 2 hours while they all played whatever they did. Then trying to herd them all up while they're all stumbling and falling over. Oh, my God, it was horrible. On the way back to Johnson City, it's raining sheets.
Yeah.
And these idiots are making fun of me and stuff and joking, I'm like, you guys really want to poke fun and really try to irritate me at midnight in a driving rainstorm in your car, which is a company vehicle, by the way. You really want to do this? So that was pretty wild in itself. It was fun, but the end was ridiculous. And then to wrap it up, so then 2 days later, I end up in Nashville for night one of Pearl Jam. So that's the second night, and that puts the cap on this 5-day kind of run around the Southeast, or at least Tennessee and Georgia. And for that show, I bought all these tickets. I bought 6 to 8 tickets, which were concert ticket arena prices. Just start doing some math in your head, and it's probably more than whatever the math is in your head. And I bought them for Christmas presents for my brothers and closest friends, and it was a really great idea. it was hard to do at the time because of the pain at the at the swipe at the counter. But by the time May got here, boy, it's the best money I ever spent.
Nice.
I mean, just being with best friends and family at my event, right? This was way better than seeing him in New York with Brad Steiner, who couldn't wait to leave the minute we got there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
But
I've imagined that event, and I'm guessing it was pretty much you, wide-eyed, Madison Square Garden, and Steiner's like this the entire time.
and then taking pictures of me looking stupid, and then sending them to people, and then putting like a
Yeah,
I've genitals on the picture.
I've had that picture in my head for a year.
That's exactly what it was. This was a far more festive kind of setting, but and I'll wrap it up here quickly. So for the Nashville show though, I got the worst seats that I've ever had at a concert in 30 years of buying concert tickets. Second to last row. There's a row behind us, and there ain't another one after that. At the ceiling.
Yep.
And I was not happy about that from the beginning, and I apologized to the people. And it turned out it was a perfectly fine place to be. It was comfortable. They were happy, the people that were with me. The apologies were not necessary. But if you remember, a month ago maybe, when I was at Billy Strings, and I mentioned by name, I'm not going to now because I didn't talk to him about specifically getting into our conversation. So you know who you are. Thank you very much. A director of some programming maybe at Bridgestone Arena. And he got me a wristband for the floor, which is worth more money than you could ever start to imagine, because that's where, everybody always wants to be.
Right.
And so for the first 2/3, I stayed upstairs just to hang out with brothers and friends, and because it's fine up there. You can still hear good. I've seen them from every vantage point. It's not that important to me, except it kind of is. And so I was like, all right, it's set break. We got probably another hour left. I'm going to the floor. And so you'll see, as if you're on YouTube and Spotify, just the vantage point from how things started to how things ended. And I'm right in front of Eddie, right in front of Ed Vedder. And I have never been that close. I've been for Madison Square Garden last year, pretty close. Bonnaroo, I've been there pretty close. Not Pitt, but pretty close. There's countless examples. Never been this close. It was a thrill, and a bigger thrill than you could possibly imagine, being that close to my hero. And I have never, ever done that. So you know who you are, dude. You made my summer, maybe my whole year, by just an act of kindness that you absolutely didn't have to do.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
We need to do an episode.
You make fun of me for getting into those platinum areas. You hate them until you get in yourself.
It's that typical, well, if I can't do it, it must suck, right?
Yeah.
We need.
If I didn't make it to the floor, I would have been like, it's no good being that close to Eddie, right? He smells.
Who would want that?
He smells. I don't want to be that close.
We need to do an episode sometime about our various concert experiences, good, bad.
We will do that in the off season, because that list is long between the three of us.
Absolutely. Because I've said before, I'm not that elbow my way to the front guy. I can't.
I'm not
stand
either.
those
That's why I've never been that close, because I don't need to. Because especially if you're in a good arena, in a good venue, like the what. Everybody got to get into the
pit,
to the pit,
the rail. Got to be on the rail.
No, you don't.
No.
With somebody pushing you.
This stage is perfect. The what stage? I mean, I actually stumbled on a show. I don't remember why. Just the other day with Brad Steiner and you guys from like 3 or 4 years ago. And it was just happened to be the topic that day that you were talking about how good the what is. So we've been saying this for 20-some odd years. It's the best stage in the world. You can't convince me there's a better one.
I agree.
I don't need to beat 5 rows out. But in this case, because I had the opportunity, after 27 years, I finally was right up in front, and I don't need to do it again. It's one of those, like, you kind of fulfilled something I never was able to do, because I, just like you, Barry, come on. I'm not doing that. And this allowed me to just walk
I'll say this. The weirdest
thing
thing I ever had happen was at the arena UTC, which is a terrible, terrible venue. But I went with a friend, and we were down on the floor, and it was seated. and I don't know what happened. I don't know who made the signal. I don't know what triggered it, but all of a sudden, everybody grabbed their chair and moved forward about 35 feet. It was the weirdest thing. I think it was Def Leppard. We just, and we all, I looked at my friend and she's like, what the hell just happened?
That is some
don't
really
know.
interesting behavioral science mob mentality kind of thing.
Everybody just cheered and then the show started. And
you couldn't get those people together to do anything right.
It was the weirdest thing I've ever been.
But they were able to make their seating arrangements together better by about 35 feet.
There was it wasn't like we were all talking about it. It wasn't like everybody was like, it'd be great if we'd move forward. It was just
good
boom,
on them.
Go.
The concert, I think that's why we're all so fascinated with it. The concert and festival lifestyle. It's just different. It's just something you got to get. It's in your blood.
Yeah.
You
love it.
The bad you love as much as the good. Sitting the second to top row before I knew I'd eventually be on the floor. Like all these things. It's just such an interesting dynamic. That's why we do a show like this. That's why we do a show like it. And thank you so much for listening to it and watching, because we know you guys love it just as much.
Absolutely. What you got, Russ?
Well, let's mention our live podcast.
Oh my God! Yeah, what the hell?
The meetup Thursday, 4:00.
Planet Roo.
Planet Roo on the How stage. We will be there. I'm looking forward. And the aforementioned Brad Parker will be one of our guests, and so it's going to be Q&A. Not only can you ask us questions, but you can ask Brad anything you want, I assume.
Maybe about bandanas.
Maybe about bandanas.
I don't know. There might be a list of questions you can't ask, and it might only be like 2, and that might be one of them. Because he's tired. I'm kidding. There won't be one.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as being shy about anything. So.
No. So that's we're really excited about that. It's one of those kinds of things. We don't really know what exactly.
Never done it before.
It will be. But it's at 4:00 on a Thursday before much gets started. If you guys and gals are out there and want to come by, I would be just thrilled and tickled to death about it, because I just mentioned earlier about when people come up and want to talk about Bonnaroo.
Means the world, doesn't it?
It does, and anything that I've done over the years in this medium, when somebody who recognizes or appreciates and understands what it all is and says hello, it absolutely means the world to me. Now, if I'm just standing around at the grocery store and some guy like, I think we went to school 30 years ago, how are you? Like, I don't know, jerk, but we're not friends now. Get out of here. Yeah. Like, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. But so I know that I can be a little difficult. But yeah, it means the world to me. I know it does you guys.
It does.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's going to be a live podcast. We're going to record it. We're going to publish it on the feed later on. So if you miss it, you will be able to catch it later. But we're also going to try to do just a meetup and just a meet and greet, hug and howdy, like Barry likes to say. And so we hope
hug and
everyone
howdy.
that listens
it's going to be
comes
the
out
hug and howdy. I like Evan's idea. We need to do a hug and howdy T-shirt.
Good idea.
But,
for me, I don't have music until not to jump ahead to our picks, but I don't have music till Dogs in a Pile at 7:45 on that Thursday. So I mean, we'll be busy doing other things, but I got all the time in the afternoon.
We should have plenty of time to do a meetup and hang out and talk to everybody. So
maybe we'll even have a cup of coffee together.
And we've had several people on our Discord who say they're going to be there, and so very, very excited. I think I'm almost getting to be as excited about this opportunity as everything else. So looking forward to it. All right.
Yeah, well, but for me, before Barry, but real quick as we close, we've talked amongst ourselves about how excited we are about this, and it's just it might just be some recognition of, hey, we see what you're doing, we'd like you to be involved. It might be just that. But last on the Radio Bonnaroo thing that went for so many years, run by incredible people from Lightning 100. When I finally was able to, Lightning 100 radio station out of Nashville, when I finally was able to break through and do a couple of years on there, I think I did 3 years, but one in particular, and that I did a lot. It was an absolute thrill of a lifetime for me, and it was like I mean, I explained it to people who go to Bonnaroo and they got this. I didn't really say it to strangers, but it was like I got to perform at the festival.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like it was like I got to be able, like that's ridiculous. That's preposterous. That's not what I was doing, but that's what it felt like to me. And so this is a version of that, and all the way reverse engineering this back to the beginning of the show. I think those bandanas and giveaways all fall into those same kind of specialness, and that's why people are so passionate about it.
I did not know you well, but if you remember, I took a picture of you doing radio.
I know,
because I knew how much it meant to you.
I do. I've
And
still got it.
I thought it
We'll
was
get up
so
there.
cool.
Yeah,
I
we'll get it
thought
up.
that has to be awesome.
It was.
Yeah.
It was cool.
And it's a good point. I mean, it feels like you performed. That's essentially what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We're not headlining, but like we're on a lineup. We're on stage performing at Bonnaroo. Now,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
part of
it's
the coolest thing in the world.
It's pretty special stuff. It's pretty
is.
special stuff. Now,
Absolutely.
will it be content that people can't wait to hear and listen to? I don't know. It might
It's going
not
to be the three of us.
I don't know. We're
and
getting an
Brad.
alderman. I think that's a pretty big deal.
I don't care. I'm super excited about it.
Alderman. I didn't even know what that was until like 2 weeks ago. Or 2 months
It makes
ago,
it even better.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's about all I got, but it's nice to be back with you guys here. And boy, this week, Wilco and 311. So look for the reviews of those shows next week. I'm mostly kidding.
All right. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Like, share, do all that stuff. Review.
Comment, tell us you hate us or love us. Either one's fine.